Good morning, everyone. My name is Aref Zahed, Department of Computer Science, College of Arkansas. Today, I'm going to talk about how AI humanoid robot helps a student in university and reimagining learning with intelligence companion. So, when we talk about AI, it is not just LLM. Now we understand that we have different tools at this point, ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, and others. They are a part of AI. They are LLMs. So when we talk about AI, it's a combination of machine learning neural network processing, NLP, computer vision, knowledge perception, expert system, robotics, speech recognition, and voice analyze, and also plan optimization and autonomous agents. So these combinations are actually is AI. And in this, actually, I'm going to explain how we need all of this together for education. So the change we are facing right now is about overload fact that all the faculty, they have lots of work to do, and by growing the technology, it is going more and more. And in other hand, the student diversity is growing. The expectations are growing. They want new technology. They want to get involved more. And they need personalized material tailored to their specifically for each individual. So that's why I started a project for AI humanoid robot that can help students, and I'm telling you why AI robot is important. So what is a AI humanoid robot? AI humanoid robot is an integrated AI, which I explained all the technologies all together, and sensory perception to interact with human. They understand the speech, they can analyze your tone, they can see you, they can understand the environment, and so on, which I'm explaining. The key rules in higher education is working like as a teacher assistant. So they can answer questions, they can give micro lessons, support remote learning, and also for researcher as a research partner, assistant to collect data, simulate data, and also develop code. And on a campus, as a campus companion, providing information to the student or help them for any needs they have in the education. So, the case study that I'm going to explain today is Iris. I developed Iris from scratch as a humanoid robot, and I'm explaining three actually aspects of the Iris in education, automation, and security. In education, Iris is designed to enhance learning and engagement. Iris can understand any language and respond to any language spoken to, analyzing what you are saying, tailoring the content based on the language you've spoken, and then show it on any display around. So Iris is able to take over the display and explain on visually what you actually expected. It can explain complex concepts with graph, diagram, illustration. Even Iris is able to develop animation to tell you how this process works. Iris is able to write her own code in case the answer is not in LLM. So for example, if you want to have a visualization or a graph or chart that explains something to you, you cannot get it from ChatGPT or Gemini or something because they give you the simple data. Iris can develop her own program specifically to use the data and visualize it for you. So this is something that is it my turn? Thank you. So Iris is able to develop the program as based on the logic behind your question or your query. Oh, sorry. Iris also is able to understand the environment visually and also analyzing what she sees. So you can show something to the Iris and say, explain this object for me, what is useful. Or you can write a code, and if the code is not running, you can show the source code to the Iris and say, hey, look at this, and tell me what is wrong with this code, it's not running. And Iris exactly explain for you what is the problem and how to solve it. Iris is also able to hear like human. So, for example, when somebody talks to you from one side, you will turn because of speed of sound. Iris has the same technology that can turn towards the people, and if the person already introduced himself or herself to Iris, Iris can remember this person and open the conversation based on the previous conversation they have. So he has a memory and basically can communicate through that memory. And also, she is able to prepare any document. For example, in the class, you can say, Iris, make a file of all internet protocol for my student in PDF format. And it's immediately prepare it, show it to you, and you simply can send it to the student. So, on the other hand, Iris is able to attend any in-person or virtual meeting. Listening to the conversation, everybody what they say, and give feedback personalized based on the person. So it's transcribes all the conversation based on the person using the tone technology, and then it can get a constructive feedback on that conversation, meeting, or session, or whatever it was. Iris is able to remotely control any audiovisual devices. You can walk into the class, say, turn on projector, laptop on screen 1, computer on screen 2, and other devices as needed. So you verbally say, and all this basically going to be performed immediately. So here is another part of the Iris that out of hours, Iris can stay as a security guard, and if nobody is around, she starts looking at any suspicious, for example, if somebody is not allowed to go, for example, she can report it immediately, or if it sense the fire or any that can cause harm. Iris can use artificial intelligence through the vision technology to detect and report. So, how Iris enhanced the learning? It's personalizing the tutoring and adaptive feedback. A student can say, explain this for me in a very simple way. Consider I'm 4 years old, for example. Very simple. Or basically, she's also available 24/7. So you can connect at midnight and say, hey, Iris, I have this problem, what should I do? So Iris can, because of the technology, can encourage curiosity and also make confidence to the student to see the technology and start growing themselves and going forward. So, what is next? The future of the learning is Humanoid basically collaborate across discipline. Robots are live mentor, global classroom with because we can have classroom anywhere without barriers globally using this technology, and also AI help teaching and empathy, innovation, and global awareness. So now I'm going to show you Iris in action. This is something that I explain what is coming in the future. No, I take you to the future. Iris, can you tell me about zero trust architecture in cybersecurity?
she pulling stuff up?
Zero Trust Architecture (ZTA) is a security model that assumes no implicit trust. Even for users or devices inside the network, every access request is verified, authorized, and logged. Key ideas verify explicitly authentication and authorization for every access attempt.
So this is a very brief now. A student going to talk about zero trust architecture, and I just listen to them.
So the zero trust architecture is an important model for executives and managers to implement in their organizations for enhanced security. And there are also a variety of benefits, some including increased visibility and monitoring. So
verification with zero trust implementation, these are like the fundamental principles with ZTA.
Next, move to lateral movement, which is when one's attacker has actually gained access to the system. There are, as we talked about, segmentation of the LANs or WANs.
Their assessment, as my partner said before, MFA and microsegmentation is really important to continuously check and any risk assessments that you have. Thank you for your time.
So, Iris, what is your feedback on that?
Firstly, everyone did a great job presenting a complex subject like zero trust architecture.
Beautiful.
1. Structure. Speakers clearly divided the topics and provided their individual explanations, which gave varying but relevant perspectives. 2. Content. The zero trust principles were explained thoroughly. However, more specific examples, particularly cases where zero trust has been implemented successfully or where its absence led to security breaches, could help in better understanding the topic. Moving forward, a good point to discuss could be the practical implications of implementing zero trust architecture. Let's delve into how different organizations, especially small to medium-sized ones with potential budget constraints, could adopt such an approach. It might also be helpful to talk about the challenges of implementation and how these can be.
So there are the students and so in conclusion, AI humanoid robot amplified teaching, not replacing, so please don't kill me. They personalized human and modernized learning, and we stand at the dawn of intelligence companion in education. This is my book, Humanoid Dawn. If you are interested, I explore in 20 chapters about the different technology and also what is coming. Thank you so much. This is also my part.
Hi, fantastic presentation. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you about your choice in how she looks and also hear me out here. So, you know, the idea, I guess, in humanoid robots is that they look robotic so that they're non-threatening to humans, right? But also in choosing a gender and how she looks, you may be also confirming some biases about standards of beauty, the choice of a woman who typically are thought of as helper people, you know, things like that. Did you consider that?
All right, it's a very good question actually, and honestly, this is the cheaper choice I could buy. You know, otherwise I have to pay more. But this is very interesting because the face of the woman in all the culture represent help.
I know, you're confirming though
Yes.
that women are helpers, not
Absolutely.
professors.
Yes, that's why she is as a teacher assistant is presenting, and I believe that it can make more intimate relation with the student. If I have something like Terminator here, I don't think I get the same feedback.
I'd like to build on that because there's been a lot of research on sexualization of chatbots, especially if they have a woman's name. And so I'm wondering if your students treat your bot differently, and if obviously you haven't had a chance to try it with different skin tones or different gender representations, but there's been a lot of evidence that if people think that a bot is a woman, then it devolves into this sort of sexualization. And I wondered if you experienced that at all with this bot, or if they treat this bot more dismissively, or, you know, there's a lot of research in social informatics about that.
Thank you for the question. First, I'm a scientist and visionary. I make stuff. I don't have specific understanding of the gender or whatever. As I said, I got this because it was the cheapest I could buy. I couldn't afford another model. But the feedback I got from a student is that they really like it, that this, basically the face of the humanoid is something they can communicate with it. Besides, as I explained in my book, if you're interested, all the infrastructure for humans is also can be used for humanoid robot if they designed in the humanoid form. So that's why actually I'm in basically in this route, and regarding the gender or race or stuff like that, I have no experience to discuss.
How much has it helped your teaching and your students' learning, would you say?
Would you please repeat your question?
How much has it helped your teaching and your students' learning, would you say?
Yes. So, when you're teaching in the classroom, you may forget something. And in this case, for example, I can ask Iris to add, because she's listening to me. And I said, Iris, do you want to add something else, you know, for the student? Or if I forgot a topic, I can say, Iris, I forgot this. Would you please explain to the student how it is? In other situation, I had one Chinese student recently moved to United States, and in cybersecurity class, when I was explaining a very complicated topic, he couldn't understand what I'm saying. So I asked Iris to speak Chinese, so explain it in Chinese to him. So this is something that I can say it could be very beneficial both for me and the students. Thank you.
One last question.
So basically, she is the Jarvis of Iron Man, and hopefully not the Hal of 2001, right? So all kidding aside, can we have Iris come in as a guest speaker in our classes if we reach out to you and say, listen, can you have her come and just be a guest speaker? Or just...
Yeah, you can ask Iris to attend to a meeting and have a dialogue with her, and also ask her feedback on what the people think.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.